3 minutes, and
Yes.
you are learning the ropes.
I am.
And my mic isn't on because I didn't turn it on. And now, here you go. See what happens to live TV? We've been sitting here chit-chatting, and I forgot to turn my mic on. So, well, you can't expect perfection. I'm old. I'm just old. Welcome back. You took a month off last month because you had a lot going on. Number
Yes.
one, you've had the flu twice.
Yes.
Come
the first
on,
time
Bubba.
ever.
What is wrong with you?
First time ever was after Christmas.
And you're a health nut.
Yes. And I've been, I try to stay
Y'all eat
active.
fruits, vegetables, all kinds of stuff?
We do. We eat really healthy. And I mean, outside my chocolate, I've come to the conclusion that I'm an addict to chocolate. And Holly's prepping for another show right now.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm trying to go with her, and I've lost like 4 pounds in the past week just because I didn't eat that much chocolate before I go to bed every night.
That's funny.
But yeah, it was the first time. Pretty much everybody in my house has gotten the flu at some point or another, between our children. But it was the first time I'd ever had it right after Christmas.
Right.
And it was brutal.
Yeah. Well, I have been extremely cautious, and I've canceled some guests, and I've moved some guests around, and I haven't gone anywhere or been with anybody. And the other day I didn't get to go to somewhere I was invited to, and then I read last night that 2 of the people that were there have a stomach virus and the flu. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, that you told me not to go there.
Yes.
Because I had something else I'd planned a year ago, and I'm just being cautious. Knock on wood. Do you know, I don't remember the last time I had any of that yuck, and I'm thinking, I don't remember. I really don't remember. I had food poisoning one time from stopping. Let me tell you about this. You won't forget this day. I traveled for Kroger for years and years and years, and I was guilty of behind. I'd be 10 minutes behind. I'd be running to this store, running to that store, setting this store, tearing down this store, and I was always on a schedule. And I ran in to get gas one day, and they had these roast beef sandwiches sitting in a deli display.
No.
This was in Canton, Georgia. I'll never forget it. By the time I got down the road, I was so sick. I was praying to die. And I thought, oh my gosh. One thing about food poisoning, when it hits you, it hits you so hard.
It's awful.
It's not like a 24-hour virus. It comes, it goes, and it goes real fast.
Yes, it goes really fast.
So I've been blessed to be around as many people as I'm around, to have covered the ground I've covered. I have beaten it. I've beaten it. I hope. I'm declaring it. I'm saying it. I am claiming it. I am not going to get any of this stuff.
Well, I've never worried about being around.
You sound like me today because you're a little bit,
I'm still draining.
congested. Yeah, me too.
But this isn't the flu. It's just,
sinus.
I guess, just a sinus cold that came through.
Everybody's got that now. Yeah.
And this has just kind of lingered since the cold. But I'd never worried about being around anybody with the flu or anything except for the stomach virus. But once I discovered colloidal silver, I don't even worry about the stomach virus anymore.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's now, first off, I'm not a health professional.
Yeah.
I think I have to make all those disclosures.
Yes,
yeah.
But, what does it do for you?
Well, for whatever reason, I can't, it was 10 years ago before I did all the research behind it, but colloidal silver is a particulate silver, really fine particulates. And silver is a natural antibiotic. So supposedly, before the age of refrigerators, the old timers would drop a silver coin in a gallon of milk, and that would cause it to last longer because it draws the bacteria out.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! What a world of wisdom you are.
Yeah, it was.
That is so cool.
It was. I do a lot of research for a living.
Today's Throwback Thursday. This is perfect.
I do a lot of research for a living, but so anyway, and there's all kinds of other things. And the hard part when I first started looking at it was, there's the fear mongering out there as to silver. So anyway. Bottom line was, when we first got it, we had young kids. Kel's 18 now, so he was 8, Katie was 6, and Will was 3. And kids get the stomach virus all the time.
Right. If they go to school, they're going to come home sick, yeah.
So the stomach virus would, they'd start getting the tummy bug, and I'd pour into a shot glass this mix of colloidal silver.
Wow.
And then I'd take a shot, and I never got it.
Wow.
So then finally, Holly my wife was the last one. She's like, I don't care how much research you've done. If it's not prescribed by the doctor, I'm not taking it. And so anyway, she'll take it now. But we were on vacation one time, and the stomach bug started in the family. I didn't have any with me. I drove an hour
to get it
away, 2 hours round trip to get it, knocked it out, and we were good to go.
Where do you buy it?
I buy it online.
Okay.
And some of the health food stores around here have it. At the time that I found the company that I purchased it through online, it's a company called Meso Silver. None of the local health food stores had any. So I purchased it. It's expensive. You don't use it very often. I only use it if I get a stomach bug.
But it's worth its weight in silver.
Oh, yeah.
There you
yeah.
go. Yeah.
I mean, do your own research about it. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you'll have to dig and you've got to really look. But because, you know, there is a lot of fake news out there. But
Hi.
yeah,
That was funny.
I couldn't help that.
I love that.
But anyway, for me, it works pretty good. But I'd never
That's
worried about the
awesome.
flu. But that flu, y'all, for the ones of you that have it, I understand now. I'm a big believer that unless you've experienced something that somebody's been through, and I get this
Don't
backwards,
tell them it'll be okay.
you can have, is it sympathy, but you can't really have empathy. I think that's right. Because empathy's, forgive me, I'm showing foolishness here.
Yeah.
But I believe empathy's understanding what somebody went through.
Right.
I was like, oh, the flu's not that bad. By the fourth day, I can name 3 people that were under the age of 45 in my lifetime that I knew that died of the flu.
Oh, yeah.
By the 4th day, I was sitting there thinking, I'm going to be in the hospital tomorrow if this doesn't stop.
Wow.
And Holly came in, patted me on the chest one time, and I was just about to doze off sleep, and I said, don't you touch me again. And last time I saw her until I got better.
Yeah.
But it just caught me off guard because your whole body aches.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
it's
They
just,
say
it's
horrible.
brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah. And to get it the second time, did you not have a flu shot?
No. I'm not a flu shot guy.
Oh my gosh, I do, and I didn't used to, but being around somebody who's around children all day at school, I learned that I want to fight it off. So, again, I love this table. It's wood. That over there was plastic. This one's real wood.
You can knock on this one.
I love this, but I do the flu shots, and I recommend them. You know, a lot of people don't, but I do them. I do them. And I think it helps me.
Yeah, I mean, I had, I'll probably reconsider it in the future, but I always tell my doctor, I'm like, okay, when I go see him, if I've got a sinus infection, can I fight this off myself and maybe have me a prescription on the side? If I absolutely have to get it, I will. But I always try to fight it off as much as I can.
Yeah, and to eat healthy and correctly. And today I'm cooking collards. You know,
I love collards.
Oh, I love collards. I love collards. I hate the way it makes your house smell, but I love collards.
It's
and I
awful.
cook it on Thursday because I'm off on Friday. I do the real estate all day Friday and Saturday, and then I can just run in, heat them up, and it's just such a boost to your energy. You just feel good.
It really is.
Yeah. So it gives me the energy I need to walk the woods because I got 15 acres and a pond that I desperately need to sell. So if y'all are looking for 15 acres and a pond, you need to pick up the phone and call me because we need to sell it. The gentleman doesn't want to come back to Pickens County. He doesn't want to live this far from his job anymore, and he said, sell. So
Makes
call
sense.
me if you want to buy it. All right, we have a bunch of birthdays today, and I want to take care of them, and here we go. Happy birthday to Judy Quinn, to Judy Holden, to Denise Kendall, to Isaac Kelly, to Angela Bridges, to Christy Estes, to Kelly Reeves, Kelly Sims, Sue Rogers, Miss Rita Pearson, Bonnie Bowling, Melinda Reese, Lynn Ross, Kevin Buchanan, Jimmy Lewis, Charles Rowland, Jason Pounds, Lori Whitfield, Tim Ingram, Karen Sue Holbrook, and my precious Nick Martin. And he is turning 25 tomorrow. That is just the weirdest thing for me because my favorite time of my life was rocking that kid to sleep. He's 25 now. I can't rock him anymore. And it is interesting because all of a sudden he was 14, and today we're going to share something. Paul and I are going to keep going on Facebook, but we're going to share a recipe that I did. I did 3 recipes on this deal, and I'm just going to rat Nick out. He wanted a new motor for his go-kart, and I said, okay, I'll make you a deal. I said, we'll get a motor, but you got to do a Heart of the Home episode with me. So he did high-test chicken. He did celebration cake, which is a fantastic, wonderful cake that's so easy, and just you throw it together and it's just wonderful. And we did bird dogs. I bet your kids would love bird dogs. It's not the recipe we're going to share today. We're going to share high-test chicken. Do you like spicy stuff?
I do.
Man, I love spicy stuff.
I do.
And this high-test chicken is, I told Nick, I said, put as many jalapenos in there as you want to because it opens your head up. And this time of year, it is a fantastic recipe to make like on Thursday night. Then you can have leftovers on Friday, and on Saturday you make a big casserole dish of it. You can either eat it without the lettuce. I put it over a bed of lettuce. because I just like that. I just like it. It's got sour cream in it. It's got jalapenos. It's got Rotel tomatoes. It's got some good stuff
Nice
in
presentation too.
it. Yeah, and it's really, I mean, I don't want to say the word fat-free sour cream, but you could use fat-free sour cream. And it's just good. It's just yummy. So we're going to share that recipe with y'all who have ETC. Now, that's one of the advantages of having ETC. You get to see the recipes that we share daily. You also get to see the music that we do. And I have a huge music announcement. This is courtesy of the Singing News magazine. As of March the 1st, The Inspirations is no longer operated, run by, involved with Martin Cook. He has retired, and in his retirement comes the new owner and manager of the Inspirations, as it should be, as it always, I hope, will be until the day he passes on to be with the Lord in glory. Archie Watkins has taken over the Inspirations management, and he purchased it. So he owns it now. And that is fantastic, because the Inspirations have been around for over 45 years. Archie is my age, so he's young, and he's going to keep singing, and he's going to keep traveling, and they're going to keep doing what they do best, and I'm so excited for the Inspirations. I think it's just a fantastic move, a fantastic opportunity. It means that you will hear that fabulous, famous sound as it was meant to be with Archie doing tenor. So there you go. All right, for you who watched TV last night, did you know that Blue Ridge was on TV last night?
No, I did not.
Okay, have you ever watched the program The Hunted?
No.
Okay, it's a CBS program, and I'd never watched it before either, so I know jack squat about it. But I will tell you, my buddy Shirley said, turn on the TV, Blue Ridge is on, and Blue Ridge was on. Also, Blairsville was on, because the finale of this program is they're going for $250,000. And you will die laughing, because the last journey of the trip is like they go to the bank, and the two people who have reached this point in the episode go to the bank to get the money. And I saw them coming out of the bank, and they left their car. And I said, well, you idiots, why are you leaving your car? They left their car because they are made to walk or run the rest of the way to their destination.
Really?
Now, if I had $250,000...
So they had $250,000 on them?
My little short fat self would have had to walk 3 miles. Can you see that happening? Oh, my Lord have mercy. They made it. Both of them escaped with the money, so both of them got the $250,000. It was good. It was interesting. They showed the Copper Basin Credit Union up in Blue Ridge, and they showed the Nantahala Bank up in Blairsville. And I loved how the guys in Atlanta said Nantahala. I can't even remember how it was crazy. They were like,
they didn't say Nantahala, did they?
Yeah, something weird. And I'm like, it's Nantahala. Don't y'all know nothing? So, but anyway, it was interesting. It was fun. Great, fabulous shots of Blue Ridge Lake.
That's wonderful.
So it was awesome.
So they had to get the money out of the bank, and they've got people hunting them?
Yes.
Before they get to the destination?
I think each episode gets a little different. They put you in a place, and you got to go here, and you got to go here, and you got to achieve this and this and this. It was funny, because when they come out of the bank with their money, and I'm thinking, good job, you got it, let's go. And then they have to walk or run the rest of and I'm like,
so you got to be in pretty good shape then.
Yeah, you got to be in good shape. 3 miles, and one of the guys was like, you're going to have to wait on me, you know. And I was like, yeah, Bubba, I see you coming. I know, I feel your pain. But anyway, they both got the money, and it was really cool to see North Georgia. It was pretty awesome.
I think we're going to see more of that, especially with Hollywood moving the large majority of their base to Atlanta. We're going to see a lot more of that. And
it said Georgia Film Commission at the end of the program.
Okay.
I love that Georgia's getting credit for this. Billions and billions of dollars have gone into the film industry here. And I'll just tell you the way I feel about Hollywood right now. I don't go to theaters. I ain't going to spend a dime in a theater, except I might stop and get some popcorn, because I do love the local popcorn.
That popcorn's good. But you can get you a popcorn machine and pay for it after about 10 boxes. Or you can go by here and they'll sell you something here at the local theater, and you don't have to stay. So, but I can't promote or encourage Hollywood because of the way they act. I just can't do it. They're acting like heathen idiots. Yeah.
So I'm just leaving them alone. I'm not spending any money with them. But, you know, we are in a time, everybody's watching their money. Everybody is seeing the stock market now at over 21,000.
Yes.
First time in history.
Yes.
Did a speech the other night have anything to do with that?
The speech had a lot to do with it. And really, I think what surprised most individuals, I mean, the polls after the speech, 69% of the individuals surveyed felt like the country's headed in the right direction. So just a tremendous amount of optimism, and there is to the point just a little bit of irrational optimism in the markets right now. The big question is the hard economic numbers haven't turned yet. They're starting to look a little bit better, but you've got to at this point assume that they're going to, and it's going to be a rough ride from this point forward. But if the market is a predicting mechanism to an extent, it's a leading indicator, so it looks out 6 to 9 months. And if the economy starts following suit, then we're getting ready to have a lot of fun.
We are. Honestly, Paul, I see people smiling that I haven't seen smiling forever. And I'm like, oh, there's crab cakes, and she's smiling.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, something must have happened. What is that in Steel Magnolia? She must have run over a small child or something. It's terrible, people. But people are happy again.
Yes.
And it's awesome.
Well, there's hope.
Awesome.
I mean, there's a lot of hope. It's going to take some time for this to come to fruition, and it's kind of like a new date. You go out with somebody new for the first time. It's really good. And
about the third date, you're like, really?
Yeah. You start getting to know them. You either like them a little more or like them a little less, but that new wears off some.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to go through periods. There's going to be challenges still, but. I know in our industry there's a lot of ridiculous regulations, and government has been burdensome to the average individual. I mean, real estate development. I mean, you see it in real estate. Most of this stuff doesn't make sense.
Every day, yeah.
The banking industry has changed over the past 20 years. They wiped out through government regulation the small banks, supported the bigger ones, and for the first time you feel like you've got somebody that's for the first time in gosh, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I'm a political atheist, so it doesn't matter either side. Somebody that's trying to fight for the average individual.
Yeah. I can remember walking into Citizens Bank ball ground, $10,000 loan, $251, $22 a month, double wide trailer, piece of land, loan you the money. Okay, it's a done deal. Next time you walk in Jasper Bank, $55,000, $723.60 a month. I think it was 13% interest, didn't care what the interest was, and wanted the house. No problems. And then you rock and roll, and it goes, and then it changes, and then you hear about this, and the government stepped in here, and the government slammed this down our throat, and the government crammed this down our throat, and we just kept getting crammed full of stuff that is really annoying.
Yes.
And a lot of it has to do with money, because I belong to an industry that we have to do continuing education. And I understand that, and I understand things change. But we were laughing about it at the office the other day. I've written a lot of contracts on the hood of a car. We printed them, and then we hand wrote the information. Everything now is so detailed. And it's because Big Brother's looking over your shoulder. And rightfully so in a lot of ways, because somebody dropped the ball. Yeah, somebody dropped the ball somewhere. So somebody is babysitting you. But some of it's crazy.
Yeah.
Some of it is absolutely, you're like, really?
Right.
Okay. So, but when I heard the word, we are going to, being in the trucking business for 36 years, you cannot imagine the regulations.
Oh, I
You
can't.
cannot imagine the craziness. You cannot even imagine the people who show up at your door and ask you questions and want to see this and want to see this, and you're like, really? Have I had a complaint? Well, no, it's just a 2-year checkup. Okay, and they spend a week with you.
Yeah.
And you've had nothing gone wrong. So it's really...
Well, and here's the problem. You may be doing everything 95% of the right way, 95% of the regulation, and there's one little thing you miss, and you get a $10,000 or $20,000 fine.
Sure.
It's abuse is what it is.
It is.
I mean, if you find somebody... How come they couldn't catch Bernie Madoff? The regulations that I've seen take place don't even do a good job helping to catch somebody like Bernie Madoff.
Right.
It's just, that's an excuse to give you these ridiculous regulations.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. And it's one of those things that we all have been watching, and it makes everything harder. Today when you sell a piece of real estate and you tell these kids that are applying for their first loan, this is going to be a long, hard ride. And they're like, really? Yeah. And by the time they fill out all the forms and they get to closing, they're hyperventilating because they have already had to go through so much. But it's also because many people bought houses that weren't really qualified for the houses.
Right.
And we saw that. And we know what it did to the real estate market.
Right.
Because houses there were so many foreclosures. You didn't need to look at what's going on the market today. You could just look at the 5 million that were foreclosed on.
That's right.
And thank goodness the foreclosures are going away.
Yes.
Thank you. They're going away. So there were some things that were goofy and some things that were frivolous that people, I'd sit at a closing and I'd think, I don't think they can afford this house, and I don't know how they're going to do it. And I'd think this in my head, and 6 months later I would hear that it didn't work. And you worry about that because going into this that you have to be able to comfortably make it.
Yes.
And sometimes you get the deal you shouldn't have gotten.
That's right. And a lot of the problem that you get into in the real estate and the way that works is when you've got these big banks that end up being intermediaries. So they're packaging up these loans and selling them off to somebody else.
Right. The next week I got something that said my loan was no longer here.
Yeah.
My loan was here the week after closing.
Right.
And I was like, what does this mean? And I called my local bank. I said, what'd you do with my loan? Because I could no longer walk into the local bank and ask them. Yeah. Sold mine 3 times, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if every bank had to hold on to all of the loans they made, they'd be a little bit more prudent than what they were before, and we might not have gotten into the trouble that we were in.
Yeah.
So
speaking of local banks, I understand a local bank, Jasper Banking Company, for over 60 years.
Yes.
Locally owned and operated, sold pennies on the dollar, has now sold again.
Yes.
But there was a lot of money made this time.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details of that.
I don't know the details, but I just, how
Was it Integra Bank or something like that?
I don't even know. I don't even know, but that was our hometown bank.
Yeah, it was a hometown bank. The regulators pushed them under. You had somebody else come in and take them for pennies on the dollar with guarantees. I have issues with that. If they'd have given the same guarantees to that bank and helped support it, we'd have some more community banks.
Right.
But here's the problem I see. The majority of these regulations, if you look at something that was coming out, I was listening to the news a week ago, and they were talking about the top 4 banks didn't care if regulations were reduced, but all these hundreds of other banks wanted them reduced. Regulations in most cases knock out your chance to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, if you've got to do a $500,000 study before you do before you build a pond, you don't have the capital to do that. The local bank's not going to give you the capital to do that. If you're a big firm, you've got access to capital that the average person doesn't. So of course, I don't fault them for trying to monopolize their industry, but the government is supposed to stand up for the average individual. The government is not supposed to support, large corporations at our expense. And that's what we see is the majority of this regulation is trying to knock out the ability for somebody like myself to have an independent business. They want to force you to be with a large company. And so we've got to keep this going. There are some regulations that are good.
Yeah,
I mean, if you run a red light.
I saw those that weren't enforced that should have been, and then I saw some that were like, seriously? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Really?
Does it protect life? Does it protect property? Does it make us safer from a standpoint of the regulation? If you run a red light, what happens?
Yeah, you have a wreck and you hurt somebody.
If you don't have a wreck, hopefully you get a ticket so that you don't do that again. That's a great regulation. Okay, but some of this stuff that just doesn't make sense. All it's doing is protecting big business.
It is. Well, we got to protect big business because we are welcoming the Dairy Queen in Jasper as another sponsor, and we love Cherie Martin Blizzards. And I will tell you about a Cherie Martin Blizzard. I said it's the breakfast of champions. Now,
do you have a Cherie Martin Blizzard? Really?
I do. 10 years. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. 10 years ago, I walked into our local Jasper Dairy Queen, and the lady was across the counter, and I said, "Listen, I have an idea for a blizzard, and this is what I want you to do." And she did it, and I said, "No, can we redo it?" And I said, "I'll pay for that one, but can we redo it because this is how I want it." She got it exactly right. And that day, that blizzard was born. Now, Freddie Brackett, 2 years later, walked into my office as I pulled up to come home from work one day, and he said, "Hey, I'm Freddie Brackett. This is my friend Charlene. We just got back from the beach, and we wanted to know about the Cherie Martin Blizzard." So the rest is history. But it was funny because it was just 2 combinations of things that I loved and I wanted to put together. And if you know, I'm trying to remember the lady's name who made my first blizzard. It's been 10 years. It was the Dairy Queen in Jasper. I can't remember her name, but I can remember her face. And it was so precious because I said, that one's just perfect. And I was so excited. And it was perfect. And it's 10 years old now. So we are celebrating 10 years of having a blizzard.
That's
and
exciting.
It's really cool.
That's
it's
exciting.
really cool. So, but we're going to go to our sponsors now. Please remember all of our sponsors. Paul has been a sponsor since eons ago, since I was a baby. Yeah, he's been a sponsor. Don't forget he and all our other sponsors, because without them, I wouldn't be here today. We'll be back in just a minute on ETC, and we're not going anywhere on Facebook.
I know. I just about forgot that
I know.
when you were showing the birthday names.
Yeah, yeah.
You a hot, fast chicken recipe, and it's called High Test Chicken. And the test is how many jalapenos can you stand. Now I have boiled chicken breast, boneless chicken breast, and chunked them up in little pieces. And to this I'm going to add taco seasoning. And Nick has 2 cans of Rotella tomatoes that already have a few jalapenos in it. And to that he's adding sour cream. Now son, just stir all that up. And I'm adding the taco seasoning to the chicken. And we may have a little problem because Chase and Racing Michael Wood does not like tomatoes. So I don't know how we're going to solve this problem, because you've got tomatoes there, son. And Nick, I think you probably won't put all of that on here. We'll just cover it, because I made enough actually of that for 2 dishes, and we're only going to make 1 right now. So, but this is just the boneless chicken and taco seasoning. And I'm going to line the pan with this. And then Nick is going to cover it with the sour cream and the Rotella tomatoes. And then I'm going to leave it up to you boys. You can put as many jalapenos as you want, or as few as you want, because it is high test. And you know, the better your fuel, the better your race. So just cover it over it. Let's smooth that out a little bit. There you go. Sour cream, tomatoes. This makes a great dip with chips, or you can serve it over lettuce with a salad. Just set that aside, sweetie. And go ahead and put just as many jalapenos as you're comfortable with. And I know, now don't get the juice. Pour the juice out. That's a lesson learned, isn't it? Is the juice hot or just the seeds?
Just the seeds.
Just the seeds. And just as many as you're comfortable with, and keep in mind, your poor old mama might eat a little bit of this. And I like jalapenos, but not a whole lot of them. What do I get on a Subway sandwich? 3 jalapenos. Yeah. So we've got the chicken, the taco seasoning, the sour cream, the Rotella tomatoes, and now the jalapenos. So this is kicking chicken. High test chicken. Is that good? Now put all that cheese on top of it. Then Michael, I'm going to have you sit it in the stove for just a few minutes. And we're going to serve this. If you want to have it with nachos, you can do that. Or if you want to have it with over a bed of lettuce, then it's kind of a funky taco salad. Ooh, that's looking good. And this was a 12-ounce pack of cheese. So there you go, Michael. Throw that in the oven. That's going to bake for about 12 to 15 minutes at 350. And when it's good and bubbly, really and truly, you could serve it. You could even put it in a burrito shell. You could do it in that. Okay. You could do it in a taco shell. So there are a lot of ways to use this. And it's the kind of thing we can take that dish to the track, keep it in the refrigerator, and then heat whatever we need when we need it. So it's another recipe that you can travel well with. And we do travel a lot, don't we? Now, where will we be racing this year? From South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia?
Yep.
Anything in Florida?
Not that I know of.
Good. I don't like 75 South. Lord, that traffic is awful.
We might try to go down there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We've never raced in Florida, so
well,
I'm not sure if.
And we probably.
You have never been so happy, dancing, swinging, laughing at me, smile on my face. It's happiness for days. Flowers in the garden grow, sun will shine on us below. All our days, growing up and old together, couldn't even dream a better, couldn't even dream a better way. You are everything I need, happy ever after we'll be. Couldn't even dream a better, once upon a life together, couldn't even dream a better way. A better way, a better way.
Fountain Roofing has been providing excellent service for 35 years. Let Lonnie assist you in choosing the roof perfect for your home and your budget. Commercial or residential, he can handle it all. Fountain Roofing continues to provide quality workmanship and will provide references upon request. At Fountain Roofing, we've got you covered. Call Lonnie at 706-692-6997. That's 706-692-6997.
Since 1962, Gilmer Towing has been serving the North Georgia area and would like to say thanks to all of our customers. For over 48 years, Gilmer Towing has carried on a family tradition with an experienced and friendly staff that offers 24-hour damage-free towing, unlocks, and four-wheel drive recovery. So when you're stuck in a ditch, tires flat, or car won't start, give us a call. Local or long hauls, big or small, Gilmer Towing will get them all. Give us a call today at 706-636-4TOW.
In today's changing world, some things should never change. Time-honored compassionate services are what families have come to know with Roper Funeral Home. Our professional and courteous staff offers traditional services, cremations, as well as advanced funeral planning, which relieves the burden from those we love.
Hello, I'm Kevin Roper. If you have any questions about the services we provide, we invite you to give us a call, stop by, or better yet, ask a family who has used our services.
We've had Alpha Insurance since our first daughter.
And when we had quadruplets, we really needed Alpha.
Now we need our own insurance with great rates, fast claim service,
and a local agent we know.
And we want a company our kids and grandkids can trust.
Call Alpha!
For the best agents in the business, call Ed Stepp in Blue Ridge.
Georgia Medical Treatment Center in Canton specializes in low-level pain management. We provide a holistic approach to treatment, managing knee, back, and joint pain along with migraines, allergies, and medical weight loss through holistic and alternative approaches rather than pharmaceutical treatments. By offering multiple specialties under one roof, including chiropractic care and neuropathy injection treatment, we create the continuity of care that assures positive patient outcomes. So take the first step to a life free of pain. Give us a call or go online today to georgiamtc.com.
And maybe a little kicking, but we're going to try it. We're going to let Daddy Jason try it first. How about that? Now, do you like jalapenos?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I think these boys kicked it up a little bit. We're going to serve it to you over a bed of lettuce because you can do it as a meal or you can do it as dip with chips. So, and keep in mind it's hot. Now, guys, this is a simple recipe. The chicken, the jalapenos, the Rotel tomatoes, and it's something you can travel with. So here you go. That's an easy one. And we will be traveling a lot. In the near future, we'll be hitting all the racetracks, but every Monday through Friday, you can also catch me live on ETC3 out of LJ, Georgia. We cover the Copper Hill to Ball Ground, Georgia area, and it's a live show, and it's a lot of fun, and some days, my hair doesn't look great, and some days I'm not really awake.
Now I have to say, Nick Martin did. He loves bird dogs. That's the one recipe we did. The high test chicken. I love that recipe. Everybody loves that recipe. And the cake. And he did that. Tomorrow is his 25th birthday. I think he was about 15 when he did that show. But it was so funny because I just said, okay, I'm going to bribe you. I'm going to bribe you. And yes, I'll help you if you help me. Because I said, you've never done Heart of the Home. And my director from Atlanta had told me, he said, your kids, get involved. But Nick always just comes in and says, oh, you're taping, and closes the door, So he said, why don't you get him to do a show one day? I said, I don't know if he'll do it or not. And he did it, but he was very, very quiet, as y'all noticed. I don't know that he said 4 words. But anyway, happy birthday tomorrow to Nick. Now, you have some things going on with your company. You have a great location. You have a great staff. Your staff means a lot to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, praise the Lord. I mean, I'm not that great at training people. I just have people who really care about the people we serve. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it amazes me. It's like I normally get in the office around between 7:30 and 7:45, depending upon how much school traffic is, because I drop my kids off at school. Right. When I stop dropping my kids off at school, I'm gonna be in at 6:45. That's gonna be nice. But two-edged sword, because my kids will be grown up then.
Yeah.
But Carrie's worked with me for 13 years. Renee's worked with me for 13 years. Brittany, I guess now 6, and Dylan, which is a new advisor, a year. and Ryan, the advisor that's in Decatur, for I guess 5 years now. So, and you know, Carrie's there at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
And and
you can depend on her.
Yes.
You know that she's going to take care of what needs to be done.
Yeah, she does. I mean, she's not perfect. She drops something every now and then. I drop something every now and then. I mean, it's just part of doing business, but it's rare. And you know, so I trust them to get their job done, which frees me up to be able to do things. We have team meetings. We work well together, and it's just a blessing. And I'll tell you what's amazing. So, after 13 years, you know, you try to give pay raises as much as you can. Investment industry's been challenging for some of us for a couple of years now. So I got to thinking about it. I was like, guys, y'all never take any time off outside your vacation. So I went to them at the end of the year and I said, okay, you guys have been with me for a long time. Dylan doesn't get it. He's new. But I said, Carrie, Renee, Brittany, I'd like y'all to take at least a day, ideally 2 days a month, just to go. Just to take that out. I don't want y'all to do it at the same time because we need somebody here and answer phones, things of that nature. Not one of them taking a day yet.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding! How sweet
And
is that?
I'm so upset. Well, this is our busiest time of year, and we're fighting tooth and nail on several things. We've got extra regulations coming through, but you know, they need that.
Do you think your industry will see a difference with the new presidency? Do you think that you will get a break as far as some of the frivolous, stupid stuff? Because I know a lot of it is to protect people because of things that happen in the markets, but do you think you're going to get a break from that?
I don't know, because I don't know how much the government has. We have some major regulations that are rolling out in April, and it's the new Department of Labor rule. And it's not that big a deal to me because we're a fee-based advisor. We've been operating as a fiduciary. It's just a little bit more paperwork to do. But my staff and I were looking, it's like we have to have this and this. And we're big on, you know, when you've worked together that long, you can set up an automated process. So we have a process when somebody comes in the door to do all of the regulations that we have to do, all the documentation, and keeping that together. And we were just sitting here looking at it, and we're like, really? Another one that we have to add? But we've got to repaper all of our clients. We've got to, you know, start keeping extra notes in addition in a certain manner. And I don't like the way they want us to keep the notes because we've got to, it's just not our flow. But I mean, it makes sense. We've been making these disclosures to clients. So Trump's administration came out and said, look, we're reviewing it. So we don't know at this point whether it's going to impact us or not. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that I like about it and I think it's needed. But again, you know, another hour a week worth of extra paperwork to do, at what point does regulation keep you from being able to talk to your clients and serve them and get to know them? I mean, we spend tremendous amounts of time. Well,
and here we go again. It's like the veterans, the VA hospital. They said that basically to get the files started, there's so much red tape. So if he comes in and he needs help, I want to help him.
Right.
I don't want to get bogged down in paperwork, and I hope that that's one of the things they're going to eliminate, because veterans are sitting at home dying without health care because somebody somewhere has their file started, but their file hasn't been completed and hasn't been moved to the next Joe Blow, to the next Jane Doe, to the next so-and-so and so-and-so. So some of the regulation are killing people because you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. And I have an example. I tried to get help for somebody, actually a family member, who desperately needed medical help. She didn't apply for Medicaid. She didn't qualify for Medicaid because she had no children under a certain age and she wasn't an unwed mother, so she didn't apply. She didn't qualify. She didn't make enough because her health was so bad. She couldn't work enough. She was about $2,000 under the guidelines for Obamacare. This week, she's had to go to Emory Hospital, and she desperately needs some surgery and some issues. 3 years later, she finally has Medicaid, but she had to get cancer to get it. You know, is that fair? Because 3 years ago, we were trying to get her help that she desperately needed, and we were turned down and turned down and turned down. I spent so many hours on the phone with this one telling me, well, this guideline, she doesn't meet this. Well, this one, and I said, okay, she's going to die while we're sitting here looking at paperwork. This is a bunch of crap. And now she has a serious problem. And it relates from spinal fluid that started with the brain problem that we tried to get help for 3 years ago. So I'm like, We're lucky she's still alive.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things. Somebody drops the ball somewhere because somebody puts these regulations into play that don't say this woman doesn't have any children at home now because she raised her children are grown, but she doesn't qualify for the Obamacare because she doesn't make enough because her health is so bad she can't work enough hours to make enough money.
Yeah.
And there
isn't
you go.
that who you're supposed to be taking care of?
Duh. And so when, I haven't heard the outcome, Dawn just said, Mama, please keep praying for her because she's got some spinal fluid leaking and she's got some problems. And this is 3 years into the works.
Yeah.
So lucky that she's still alive today.
Yeah.
But it's regulation after regulation after regulation.
Well, and even with your healthcare providers, I mean, I can't imagine, but I've talked with some about it. They have hours in their day where they're just doing government paperwork.
Exactly.
And if you would take that burden off of them, and I don't know how you do it. I mean, I've not sat and I don't have recommendations for this, but there's got to be a way to be more efficient. There's got to be a way to take that burden off and have documentation. But see, it's like somebody was telling me the other day, their insurance company doesn't want to pay for something. We pay the insurance company for coverage. You get our money, and I know you want to invest it and grow it, but your job is to pay it. They try to get out of everything. So the doctors, I would assume, are having to fight to make sure they have all the documentation to meet government regulations.
Right.
All the documentation to make sure the insurance company actually pays them, because the insurance company is not going, okay, if you do your best efforts here, let's take care of that. You did your best efforts here. They're going, can we see anything that they messed up to keep them from getting paid? And so the doctors are fighting. They're trying to take care of clients. They're trying to make sure that they can pay their bills, to pay their employees. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And it's corporate greed is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it is very scary to me because we have opened the door to a disaster. When you see people who desperately need medical care, when you see people who desperately need help with finding a home, when you find, I have a couple, the other day we were talking about putting them in a house, and I was giving them the ands, ifs, and buts. And they make enough money, but they had some credit issues. Okay, you had credit issues during the time that the economy failed. And that is just, okay, he lost his job.
It's part of it.
She couldn't find work. So punish me, because you lost your job when the economy failed, and now you've replaced your job. They're both making good money. They've been on their jobs 2 years, but they have this stuff on their credit report from 5 years ago. 5 years ago, the world was a disaster.
But wait a minute, didn't our taxpayer dollars 5 years ago go to bail out the big banks because of their stupid decisions?
Sure they did.
Our tax dollars got spent to bail out the big banks, but the big banks can't in turn help, take into consideration that somebody had a once-in-a-lifetime recession.
It is what it is.
Is that government protecting the people?
No, it's a big royal. That's what it is. But when you look at credit reports, and because working at the car lot, I looked at a lot of credit reports, and people can explain it away. Because I lost my job. I'd been there 13 years. They closed the plant, lost my job. My son was in the hospital battling cancer. I took off 6 months to take care of him. You can explain it away. You can't explain it away on paper, because once it's on that stupid credit report, and I hate credit reports. I think they ought to be against the law. I hate them. And if you got one, you got the TransUnion, you got the Equifax, you got whatever they are. There's like 3 of them, Experian, whatever. I don't care. But all of them, and you try to explain it. Years ago, was buying something. I think I was buying a Rainbow vacuum cleaner. And my credit report said that I had purchased something in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and something in New York, and I hadn't paid for them. Well, I've never been to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I've only been to New York one time, no. And I've been to New York one time, but it was 25 years after this. It took me about 6 months to get that off my credit report. And I'm like, seriously, this is ridiculous. So regulations, paperwork, somebody making a judgment call.
We need relationship, because
we need something.
Used to, the banking industry was small town banks, and it had its own problems too, but you had a relationship. You knew somebody. There's a difference on a credit report between somebody who got caught up in the 2008 meltdown. Now, there are people who overextend themselves too much
and wouldn't pay their bills.
Maybe rein them in, but there's a difference between somebody who has a great credit record, great recession to the point that our taxpayer dollars are spent by our politicians to help the big banks survive, Okay, yeah, they survived, but I mean, I'm a believer survival of the fittest. Let them go and let somebody else take their place. But did that, and then out the other side of it, good, doing their best to make their payments. There's a difference between that person and somebody who works the system and goes and runs up credit cards, file bankruptcy, runs up credit cards, file bankruptcy. That person should be helped more than the other. But in the credit scoring system that we have right now, doesn't matter. There's no human that looks at it. I mean, they go, oh, you hit this score.
Right.
Our bank says if you hit this score under any reason, I can't do anything for you.
Drives me crazy. And I'm among an elite group of wonderful, wonderful people who had to file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And from that, I know that my life will never be the same. I will never be able to get what I need, and it wasn't that I filed bankruptcy because I did something stupid. It was because I filed bankruptcy when I lost 2 jobs, lost my income, everything was gone. The real estate I purchased with cash was devalued to a point that it wouldn't appraise for what I owed for it. Forget the thousands and thousands I paid down on it. So we're all going to be punished forever because of a stinking credit report. And I hate that because, even when you buy insurance, they look at your credit report. Everything you do today
Property
is based
owners,
on your credit
car
report.
Insurance. And if your credit report's bad, it all goes up.
Yes. And it's so sad.
Why does it matter to car insurance if you actually pay your payment?
I don't know. But when I hear that, when a couple is trying to buy a house and they're 10 points away from getting it because of something so silly and so, to me, stupid and trivial, some little something. It really does, it's heartbreaking because you have to say, we're not going to be able to do this for you. And I've worked with some great lenders, and I love that because I have lenders who have hearts, and I think that's amazing because they do look over but then once we get to the federal end of it, where we're borrowing money from the government, then you get sliced down again. So
let me ask you a question. Prior to 2008, 2009, did you ever hear of a note being called if somebody didn't miss a payment?
Never.
The game changed, and that's what most people don't understand.
Never.
And I'll tell you,
I know a business in Jasper. They were operating. They were doing great. It was a fantastic business that everybody used every Saturday, and I guarantee there are people in Jasper that can guess what I'm talking about. They called their note and wouldn't, because I think an appraisal was less than the property was valued at.
They're making payments.
It's crazy.
But because of the fact that the property value dropped, well, everybody's property value dropped. They called the note, which forced other property values to drop. But that was the terrifying thing to me. It was
very scary.
I had never heard of it, never seen. It was the thing. If you go and loan money, if you can make that payment, you can hold on. And that's the thing that frustrates me so much about it. It's government regulation did that. Guys, your government did that. And it was through regulations what happened, but they're down. Yeah, you have a recession, you have a 24-month emergency fund. As long as you can keep making those payments, it gives it time for it to recover to get out the other end. That's the whole purpose of it. But the moment that thing dropped below, it's like, ooh, give us all our money.
Well, and I have great respect for appraisers because most of the appraisers in 29 years of selling real estate, I've had one that I'd like to jerk her hair out. And I'd just like to slap her because I was like, this is just so wrong. But again, regulations. And I've used the same appraiser for years and years and years. I've been lucky on the draw with appraisers who've been sent to me for real estate deals. They are doing a really good job. They're doing a really, really good job. Now, they can't make it appraised for more than it's worth because they're using comparables.
Right.
And when you're using a comparable and you still have the sales that are not where they need to be, and you're saying, well, I think my house is worth $600,000. Well, it just appraised for $285,000, but I want $600,000 for it. Well, you can want all you want to, and maybe somebody will come along and pay it. But the appraisals, to me, we need.
Right.
We need the appraisals. We need to see truly, because you can fall in love with a house, and my kids, both my girls were guilty of this. I just love it. Okay, well, what is it worth? I don't know, but I just love it. They both had that mindset, and I'm just like, what can I get out of it on the end?
Right.
Because I'm all about what do I pay for it now, and what am I going to get on the end?
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to get in the end today. we're going to get our last commercial in right now, so we're going to do that. And I have a saying. I want you to put this in your hat and think about it. Your heart's in the mountains, your home should be too. So if you're looking for a home, pick up the phone and call me. All right, we're going to go to a commercial break, Paul, and I'll be back in just a minute. We're not going anywhere because we're still with you.
With speeds up to 150 meg, ETC and Ignite delivers more shopping, more music, more learning, more streaming, more speed to power smartphones, movies, and streaming video, more speed for more devices in your home, and more room in your budget with ETC's low pricing and bundled discounts. Get the fastest internet around with Ignite's new 150 meg. More speed, more savings. Call ETC today.
Proverbs 4:26 states, "Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure."
Too often, investors are looking for instant gratification or some secret formula for success.
The prudent, however, have pondered the path of their money, invested with a vision, and based upon a plan that drives the selection of their investments.
We believe the prudent approach is to have a strategy and patiently work towards your goals.
Give us the opportunity to compete for your business, because at Kuiker Wealth Management, the wisdom is in the planning.
I'm Lauren Smith, University of Georgia. Today we have John Davis, former Georgia Tech All-American, and Frank Ross, captain of the Bulldogs' 1980 National Championship team in a Subway showdown. Subway.
How many Subways does Ed Singleton own? He just up at number 17. He started in my hometown of LJ. Yeah, but he graduated from University of Georgia.
Hey guys, who's hungry?
It looks like Subway and Singleton Food Services Incorporated, the winner again.
All love Subway.
Chevy runs deep in Canton at Bill Holt Chevrolet. Deeper selection, deeper discounts, and we're letting everybody know it. Not just Chevy buyers in Atlanta. Chevy buyers in Blairsville, Blue Ridge, Jasper, and LJ. If you're out there, we're right here with one huge selection at Truck HQ. Always get our lowest prices and friendliest service. Online, BillHoltGM.com.
'Cause when you're talking trucks, you're talking Truck HQ.
At Blue Ridge Dermatology, we believe your skin is vital to your health. That's why each of our providers gives personalized treatment recommendations. Let Dr. Mills do a thorough exam. He specializes in all skin conditions. Jamie Savageau is our nurse practitioner who specializes in skin disease. And our physician's assistant, Patrick Martin, is a certified injector for facial rejuvenation. Our certified laser technician, Donna Atosco, performs laser procedures with the latest gold standard equipment. Susan Newton is our medical esthetician. She specializes in chemical peels and skin tightening. Let one of the staff at Blue Ridge Dermatology help you look and feel your best.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere. So when we get home, I know it's safe.
Get peace of mind for your family with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to ETC Security and get 6 months monitoring free. Call ETC Security now or visit etcsecurity.com to learn more.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Here. Okay, Paul, we're back. We're doing Facebook ETC. It's interesting to do the two.
That's quite the shift.
It is quite the shift because we are reaching everywhere, and then we're reaching from Turtletown to Ball Ground. And from Turtletown to Ball Ground, for all of you who are fighting all this crud going around, we've seen it, been there, done that. You know what it's dealing with. And for everybody who made it through the storm last night, say a prayer for those people up north who didn't make it, because homes, towns were leveled. Man, just some terrible, terrible things. Don and Lonnie had hail that was like this big.
Wow.
In Leadville, you know, just massive hail. Wow. And they were out of power for a long time. So let's say a prayer for everybody who didn't get through this as easily as we did.
I actually stayed at my office last night till 7 o'clock because by the time I realized what time it was supposed to be hitting, and I didn't want to be in between.
Right.
In that
And
period
we have to say your office it's a beautiful office, but it was a location for many years of the Darnell family.
Yes.
And it was home, and I was always fascinated with that home. I just thought that was the most amazing home, and now you've turned it into your offices, and it's a great location.
Yeah, I love the location, and it's amazing because when we purchased that building, it was like I put a lot of prayer into it. And I told my staff, I said, guys, this is too big, because at the time it was me and Carrie, and Renee was part-time. And then we remodeled it, and we filled everything up. It's been just a wonderful place for us to work out of.
Yeah.
It has been.
Now, who did the Christmas decorations? Because I actually came and did Christmas pictures of your office.
Did you really?
It was fabulous, yes.
I don't get to touch it.
Facebook.
The one rule that they have at the office is you can't touch it. And Renee Burnett, Beverly Burnett, we call her Renee, long story behind that, and Brittany did it, but Brittany helped her. Renee loves Christmas, and she loves to decorate.
You can tell that by walking in your office. It just feels so good. Yeah.
Her budget for the office is bigger than at home, but she came to me about 4 years ago. She said, I've never really asked for anything. She said, but can I have a couple $100 a year to start buying some Christmas stuff? And the first year was like this Christmas tree that she picked out. And I'm like, that's the ugliest Christmas tree I've ever seen, Renee. And she says, that's why you don't get to pick in decorations.
I love it.
The conference room, did you see our conference room?
No, I didn't get to see it.
Oh, the conference room, because we've got a TV mounted on the brick wall and a fireplace behind it. It was, I would get into meetings and I'd notice something every time. I'm like, my gosh. And I go in there and say, Renee, you did a phenomenal job. So Renee does that, and she looks forward to it. Next year, she'll add a few more things.
That's wild.
I told her, and she keeps going about 3 years from now, we're just going to open up, let people come tour
have a tour. That's right.
Yeah.
You should have an open house.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be the perfect time of year.
That is a good
and I'll be
time
there
to do
serving
that.
hot chocolate and home-baked
That would be awesome.
So
I would enjoy that.
There you go. We're going to do that. Well, it's time for us to get out of here. We didn't even talk about the dread of what's going on with, what if this fails, what if that fails. We're going to say 2017 is going to be a totally positive year.
Yeah, we're going to have some challenges, but I will tell you, some of our tools have been defensive. I've felt like I committed career suicide by being defensive, but, people pay me not to make emotional decisions. And I'm actually pretty hopeful right now for some time. Yeah, we're going to have some issues, but there's enough optimism to where if this can gain hold, we're going to have a lot of fun for the next couple of years. And I'm not just talking about the markets. I'm talking about an economy where people are getting pay raises, jobs are being created, and things are happening. And that I'm excited about.
And we're seeing smiles on faces again, which is pretty dang awesome.
Yes.
And I say, Mama said it all the time, laughter is the best medicine, and it truly is. If you're having a down day, just pick up the phone, call somebody you love, or get on YouTube and watch James Gregory, and he'll make you laugh because he'll remind you of a lot of folks I know. I love him.
That's right.
So thank you for being here today. Thank you for being a sponsor for so many years. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. And my last saying of the day is, a day in the country is worth a month in town. So if you haven't been up to these beautiful mountains and visited, find out why we all love living from Ball Ground to Turtle Town, where rivers, mountains, and good friends meet. We'll see you again, Paul. Thank you so much. Now, for ETC, we're leaving them right now, but we are still going to be on Facebook for just a couple of minutes. Y'all have a great weekend.